Okay, hopefully you're able to still hear me. We're going to go ahead and get started, and then whoever else can jump on when they get on. Okay. Okay, so this is the final class of the book coaching class, and so we're going to go over some things. And so three things that we're going to go over is I'm going to tie up some loose ends and things that I through the class I may have dismissed in any of the sessions. I kind of like reviewed the sessions and say, oh, I missed to say that, I missed to say that. So I'm going to just give those few things. It's not much, but it is a few things. And then I'm going to give you some additional nuggets and some encouragement. And then finally, questions and answers for those of you that are in here. If you have any questions, anything that I can help you with, I'll use the remainder of the time to do that. Should be a quick, maybe a 20-minute class, maybe. And then we will go forth for that. So everything ISBN. So what is a ISBN number? An ISBN number stands for an International Standard Book Numbers. And those are the numbers, I'm sure everybody knows, but I just want to show you that is the number that is right here on your book. So the question now becomes for you all is, do you need an ISBN number? Because one, these numbers right here, the ISBN numbers are not free. You actually have to pay for them. So do you need an ISBN number? And I would say yes. And here's the reason why I would say yes. So if you ever want your book to be displayed in the libraries or for the sale in the stores, then you need an ISBN number. And when we say store, that can even be like a local church bookstore. So if a local church bookstore, if they have a barcode reader, then you would need to have an ISBN number. So some people can get away with them. If they don't think their book is ever going to be in the stores or ever be in a place where, and they want to kind of sell their books themselves, then you wouldn't need an ISBN number. But I want to recommend everybody get an ISBN number just because it's just going to be easier for you, and you may need it down the road, and why not just go ahead and get it. So how do you get an ISBN number? The best way, I believe, to get your ISBN number is through your book publisher or printer. And the reason I say that is because they buy them in bulk. So you will buy like one. You can buy, if you think you're going to write 10 books, you can buy them, I think, in packages of 10. But normally you just buy one. But your publisher and printer has bought them in bulk, so it can be cheaper for you. So if you go straight to where ISBN numbers come from, and I can't remember where they actually come from, and I'll get that information to you, you will be charged more versus just going through the book publisher and printer. And my recommendation is 48 hours print books. I think they're about $125. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I think they are. So I think you definitely should get that. Just one note of caution, just for you, if you're ever going to, if you're going to publish your book, let's say you publish your book through 48 hours, the one that I recommend on all my sessions, and that doesn't work for you for some reason, and then you decide you want to go to Amazon, don't ever get your ISBN numbers from Amazon or their kind of like subsidiary CreateSpace, because those ISBN numbers don't work well with the outside world. Amazon tries to keep everybody in their ecosystem. So if you buy your ISBN number from them, then it really doesn't translate to the ISBN, to the outside world, outside of the Amazon ecosystem. So I recommend just buying the ISBN number separately outside of the Amazon system so that you can use it other places if you're going to go the route of doing your book through Amazon, which that is an option. Okay. Next thing I wanted to tell, this is encouragement for you all. How to handle negative comments about your book. Believe it or not, there are going to be people who are going to, and I mean, these are, um, it may not necessarily be people from the outside world. Now, when you put your book on Amazon and you start, getting out there, definitely there were people that go negatively comment on your book, and you should expect that. But I'm talking about from friends, family members, and people you thought should support you is going to negatively comment on your book. It has happened with both of my books that I've written. The first book, one lady told me she read the book, and then she told me, "Oh, I could have wrote this book." And I'm like, and I'm thinking in my head, because, I ain't always all the way delivered like I should be. I'm thinking in my head, well, why didn't you? So it's different stuff, comments and stuff. So you're going to have some negative comments on your book. And there's going to be people that haven't even written a term paper and don't even know how to write a complete sentence that will negatively comment on your book. It goes with the territory. As you're getting out there, there's just going to be people that's going to negative comment. Now, there's going to let's talk about this. You must understand the difference between a qualified critic and an unqualified critic. And I used to say that only people who wrote books could negatively critique me. I've gone a little bit past that. For me, if somebody has never written a term paper, again, cannot write a complete sentence, and doesn't know how to talk in complete sentences, that is not a qualified critic to me. That person can't criticize my writing, because they don't know. For me, they don't have the skill set to criticize my book. However, there is a qualified critic. There is, for instance, my pastor. He has never written a book, but he has a PhD. He has written several term papers. He has written several position papers. So I believe he's qualified to negatively critique my book. There's another lady that used to go to our church. Her name is Reverend Joletta Patrick. She is just a very detail-oriented person. I've seen her work, and she's working on a PhD now. I know she knows how to write. So for me, although she hasn't written a book, she's a qualified critic. So here's the thing. I would dismiss all unqualified critics, and I would hear what qualified critics have to say about my writing. Because when you engage, or when you have a qualified critic that negatively comments on your book, you can use that because you're going to sell out of these books. Your first 100 books, you're going to sell out of those. And then if you feel that person has your best interest at heart, and they have given you some stuff that you could add or could make your book better, then go ahead and make those edits and those corrections or whatever in your second printing of your book. So understand the difference between qualified and unqualified critics. And again, when you put your book out there on Amazon, and maybe even on your website or different blogs, it depends on how far reach your book will go. You will have also trolls. And what trolls do, they just negatively comment on stuff. They just, they haven't even read your book, and negative comment. So don't take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt, unless you really know the person, you really know that they're a qualified critic, and you really know they have the best interest at heart. Some people are just going to be haters just to be haters. It goes with the territory. You are stepping into a realm that most people would love to step into, but for some reason or another have not been able to step into. So don't take it personal. Let me say this to you. Steve Jobs said this. He says, real artists ship. Real artists ship. Now, what does that mean? That means this. There are some people that, and I'm actually dealing with a guy on something else that he's been supposed to give me something to do some Bible study with, and he will not give me the product because he's waiting for perfection. But if you're waiting for perfection for your book, you're not going to do it. Your book won't be perfect, but it will be published. Okay. So let's get over that. Let's get over that. Let's get over that. Your book won't be perfect. I don't care how many times you read it. I don't care how many times your editor, whether you choose all 3 editors, your book will not be published. There's no book on the face of the planet that is perfect, but you have to get it to the place where you can ship it. I would say make sure it meets the minimum qualifications of excellence, meaning that you have done your due diligence and you have gotten at least a proofreader to look over it and make sure there's no glaring areas, periods are in the proper place, commas and all of those different types of things are in the proper place. There's subject verb agreement and those types of things. As long as those types of things in place in the books make halfway sense, send it to print after you've done all those things that I've told you. Because if not, you will get caught by the paralysis of perfection. You will keep going over and over this again, the paralysis of perfection. Let me tell you what the paralysis of perfection will do. Perfection is the enemy of profit. Profit. Perfection is the enemy of profit. As long as you're going through that perfection loop, you're going to be not profiting from your book. And I know a lot of you all may not be looking at the book from an aspect of profit, but you're going to profit from the book if you get it out there. Because I know a lot of you just want to get your message out there, but you're going to profit at some point from the book. So don't allow the perfection even to get in the way of the message, of the product, of the message that you're trying to send. Because again, you could take any one of these books. You can take both of the books I've written. You're going to see some errors. You can take one of your favorite artists or favorite writers or whatever. Look through the book long enough and you're going to find some errors. So don't get caught in the analysis, the paralysis of perfection. All right, let me see. 2 more sections to go here. So let's look at this. These are some final quick notes and nuggets, and I will get this to you. Please note, I will get this to you so you don't have to write this down. I'm just going to hit these real quickly. So these, I'm going to give you a checklist. Give me until probably the maybe May, mid-June area to get this to you. But these are things that you want to think about and make sure you have in your book. I think, did I write the optional? Oh, yes. So you want an endorsements page. Endorsements page is optional. So once you get your book out there and you give them to the feedback readers, maybe some of them will write you some endorsements. Now, there are some endorsements that hold weight and there are some endorsements that don't. So for instance, if you want your cousin that nobody knows to endorse your book, it's not going to hold any weight. But if you're going to have, let me see, somebody who may have a name in the community, let's say, and I'm not bragging, let's say myself, if I endorse your book, then some people are going to say, oh, I know Pastor Tony, I know he wrote it, he has 2 books out there, so I know his endorsement has some weight to it. Or maybe your pastor, some weight to his. So if your pastor endorses your book, then generally all the members in his congregation will probably buy it because he endorsed it. They look to him as their leader or her as their leader. So that will be that. Then you need a blank. That should say blank page, not a bank page, but that should say, where is it at? That should say, I'm so sorry. Let me see where that's at. Okay, that should say a blank page. At the beginning of your book, you should have a blank page. And the reason I say that is because you want to have a place where you can sign your autograph and sign special messages to people. And I found out when I first printed the book, I was signing the messages on that page right there. And it was just hard if I wanted to write a longer message. Now, I recommend you getting one message to send to everybody, whether it be God bless, thank you for your support. But then there will be people that, will want a little, personal message. So they buying the book, I'll write them a personal message. So on this second print, this is the second print of the book, I put in this blank page at the beginning so I could put the special messages on there. So you want a blank page at the beginning. Then you need your title page. Again, that's there. I showed you that. Okay. Then your copyright page. Listen, don't stress out over your copyright page. If you have my book, just go in there and copy the copyright page out of my book, or get another person's book and copy the copyright page out of their book. Don't spend a whole bunch of time worrying about all of that. I just took this copyright page out of one of my mentors' books, and I modified it for me. For instance, I put in, my publisher, my name, but it was it's a very simple copyright page. Dedication page. I have the dedication page right there. The dedication page was this one for this book was dedicated to my first book. I think I dedicated to my wife. The second book, I dedicated it to my sons. And then if you want to have a special thanks page right there, you can have a special thanks page. And that's where I put my special thanks to my wife and different other people. Again, all of this, what you can do, and I'll put all of this on the Google page or some page so you can see it. But really, all you can do is take any book that anybody's written and kind of get this information and kind of use it as a template for yours, so that you don't have to think for it. You can do a forward, or a forward is just kind of like talking about the book, preface, look all these words up, or afterward. If you have to do anything, I would do a forward. That would probably be it. If you really want to get the book out. Then the appendices, if your book has a lot of different things that you are noting, you would probably think about appendices, resource lists. Like for example, with my book here, there's a little bit of actually, I don't have the resource list in the book, but I point to a website that has resource lists for things to develop your goals. Definitely you want a bibliography of the resources. If you cited anybody, if you've quoted anybody, if you've used anybody else's text to build your argument, you definitely want to quote them and make sure that you cite them in the back of your bibliography. I recommend put your author's bio over there, your contact information, just in case people are lazy and won't want to go and look you up on Facebook or look you up on your website. It'll be right there in case they want to book you to speak. You can also put ads in your book. So if there's anybody, and ads are a way to pay for your book. So if there's anybody who wants to take out some ad pages in your book, you can put, maybe charge them $100 per page, or I would probably even go $250 per page. Because guess what? Every person that's going to put an ad in the back of your book, they're getting you're giving them clients, so definitely think about that. So that's going to be a resource list that I'm going to give you, and it's going to have a few more things on it. It's going to have a few more things on it, but that's the kind of the gist of it. And last, but almost last, is the book size. This is my personal opinion. I think your book size should be 5 by 5 by 8 by 5, and that's the perfect size for a book, in my opinion. That is the size of this book, and the reason why I say that is because you can get, if you're going to mail your book out, they have mailers at Walmart that you can slip your book in. That's very easy. That you could buy just from Walmart, and the price is cheaper to mail your book out. I think this is the perfect size. It makes it look, for 100 pages, it makes it look like it's a pretty nice size book. But when people open it, they see, okay, it's a good just not a lot. For kids books with artwork, probably is the exception. If you have a kids book that has artwork in it, then that's probably going to be the exception for this size book. But again, let me say it again. I want to just kind of pound this in your head. Go on your bookshelf and find books and measure them. Let me see. You measure the size of the first measurement is this width length, and then you get the height right there, and see which size book you like. You may not like the 5x5 and the 8x5, whatever size you can. And what is it called? 48-hour books can print any size you want. So think about that. Okay, so what happens from here? What happens from here? You continue the journey. That's what happens from here. You want to continue writing. I've given you all of my best content. You can go back and read or look at the videos that I've posted to you, the links that I posted to you. They should be available for now. If you go to one and one's not available, let me know, and I'll see if I can get it to you. Maybe I'll post it in the group so you all can have it. So you continue the journey, keep writing. I would say that to go back and listen to my first video, the first video that we did, the first session that we did, because that has so much valuable information for as it relates to you, not giving up, the struggle that it is to get from blank page to published book. So I would say go back and kind of listen to that, get encouragement from that. Also, I will be available to you until you publish. So, granted, we won't have week-to-week classes and stuff like that, but definitely reach out to me via email, reach out to me via text, or call me, and we will make sure, I'll make sure that you get to the finish line. Again, I will be emailing you some helpful resources, some videos, and some tutorials to help you out. I'm going to give you a resource sheet of all the things that I've talked about, like where to publish at, where to get your design and all that stuff. I'm going to put that together. I'm going to get that out to you. I'm going to get you an itemized cost list from what you're doing now to all the way to the publishing end, so you can kind of see how much your cost is going to be. I'm going to send you out a book announcement letter and sponsorship request. I'm going to write that personally for you. I'm going to have it edited. So all you have to do is kind of go in and plug in your information. I'm giving that to you. That's all free. Going to post it out there between now and probably June 15th. It'll be out there as I finish those things. They will be out there. I would recommend once you finish writing, that you contact me, and that we work on getting your editor. And then once you finish your editing process, definitely contact me again. I'm here to kind of help you get to that publishing thing, get to your published book, where your book will be in your hand. You'll be selling it. I will say also, sometime in May, I'm going to hold a bonus class with an author by the name of Tara Lane Campbell. She did a book launch where she, had an event and she launched a book. I've never done one of those, so I asked her would she come in and do a bonus class with you all to kind of tell you how to do that, and she said yes. So I need to get the date, book her for that date, and we'll come back on this side and she'll tell you how to do that book launch. But again, here, continue the journey. I'm here with you. So the thing is to pursue, publish, promote, and profit. Okay, pursue. You got to keep pursuing. You got to keep publishing. You got to publish. Then you have to promote what you publish, and then you have to profit. So the rest of the journey is up to you. Again, I'm here to help guide you, but you got to kind of be your own advocate at this particular point. All right. So is there any questions or answers? You have to, everybody's muted at this particular time. But if you have any questions or answers, you can, if you have any questions, and I will answer for this last session here. Let me just check the chat box. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Okay. there was a question about the editing and finding an editor. Is their website? If you could go back to class number, it was the last class that we just did. I think I sent the replay. If you go back to that class, there is, the website is upwork.com, and I'm going to actually put that. That's the website, upwork.com. Oh, thank you, Jasmine. Upwork.com. But if you still feel like it's a challenge for you, let me know, and we'll talk one-on-one for that. May you resend the link to the previous classes, please. Yes, I will definitely go in, and I'll send all of the links to the previous classes. Let me make a note, and I'll send them all in one email, so you can kind of just click through the email. For the person who talked about, okay, Christian, since you said, since it went to everybody, did you not get that class, or do you need me to further explain the auditing process, or you hadn't heard the information yet? If you could type that in the chat box. Anybody else have any other questions? Type those in the chat box. Upwork.com is one of the websites, but also you might find freelancer.com. That's a good one as well. I like Upwork.com for editing projects, and I like freelancer.com for graphic design projects. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Upwork.com. And again, if you need any help with that, especially with choosing somebody. Matter of fact, when you go to choose somebody, say you go on the Upwork and you do the due diligence and you find somebody, send that person's name to me and let me take a second look for you, just to make sure that we've caught all that we need. I'm pretty good. I've been using these websites for years, so I can kind of see some things that you may not have caught. So once you find somebody you think is right, send it to me and let me kind of just do another kind of look at it, and then you can go forward from there. I might see something that you just didn't catch, or they may be perfect. And I would give you my editor that did my last book, but she was good. I just wasn't, I'm just not over the moon about her, but she was good. I'm waiting to find that person where I'm like really over the moon about. So that's the only reason I'm not putting her name out there. If y'all want her name, I'll definitely give it to you. But that's why I'm not, recommending. I just wasn't over the moon, but she did a pretty good job. I've only caught maybe 3 or 4 errors that was in the book from her editing, and I think that's pretty good. Any other questions? Okay, so since there's no more questions, again, thank you all for allowing me to be your coach for this book. I'm looking forward to all of you all publishing. Do not allow, because all of you are Christians, I can say this, all of do not allow the devil to discourage you, to get you to slow down, to roadblock you, because he's going to try to happen, but you got to keep pressing forward and know you get to the end of this process, and you just gotta make the time for it. And if you don't have the time, you gotta make the time. Cut off Netflix, miss a game or two, or whatever it may be. That I like to watch CNN news, so I had to cut some of that out and all that type of stuff to get to this process. And then I'm going to be going through it. I'm hoping to do 2 more books in the summer. So I'm going to be in the process in the trenches with you all. But again, thank you all. Again, you can call me, email me, text me anytime. I'm here. I definitely want you to get to the finish line. I'm going to be checking in with you, but definitely feel free to reach out to me at any time. Look out for those different resources. Look out for those videos, especially the one that deals with designing your book cover. I'm going to put some time into that one. to really go over that and really do a slow video for you all. Okay. All right. Well, you all have a great night. And again, thank you for allowing me to walk you through this process. And I look forward to seeing you all's books. God bless.